Hi everyone, I'm Yumu from Susan's family. Today, I'm sharing with you a pillow named So Blooming from our Funky Chickie collection. For the charts of this project and crocheting guidance, please view our website, en.susuddiy.com. This pillow is made up of the body, the limbs, the facial features, the hat and tail. Let's make the body first. We'll start with a magic ring and crochet in joined round counterclockwise. As you work, stuff the pillow with filling cotton. Before we begin, let's take a look at the chart. In the chart, our ND plus number indicates the round number. The stitch instruction column tells the stitches needed for the current round, and the increases or decreases to make. The total stitches column shows the stitch count for the round. The techniques you need are X for single crochet, V for SC2-in-1, A for SC2 tog, chain, and slip stitch. I'll show you in detail. Take up the corresponding yarn. We use Chenille yarn or Handcrafted number 2 knit thread for this project. When we're working with Chenille yarn, we use a single strand. For the Handcrafted number 2 knit thread, we combine 2 strands to work as one. You can pull the ends from both the center and the outside of the skein. I'll work on the Chenille yarn in this video to make it easier to watch. Colors for the sample are random. For specific yarn details, color combinations, and hook sizes, please check the detail page and pattern chart of this project. Mr. in the chart means to start with a magic ring. Let's make an adjustable magic ring together. Pick up the yarn with your right hand. Wrap it around your left little finger once. Place it between the middle finger and index finger. Pinch the tail with your thumb and middle finger. Pick up the hook with your right hand and place it below the yarn. Wrap the yarn counterclockwise once to form a loop on the hook. Pinch the overlap of the loop with your left thumb and middle finger. Make the loop bigger here. Put the hook on the left of the yarn. Yarn over. Draw the yarn through. Continue holding the loop to keep its size. And there you have an adjustable magic ring. Now, let's crochet round 1. Here's something you should know. Due to the uniqueness of the yarn, you might get a bit tired while crocheting. When that happens, you can change your way of holding hook. Here we have 2 of them. The first one is pen holding style. For the second one, place your hand above the hook and hold the hook gently. Now let's start crocheting. Round 1 says 8x. The number before the x indicates the number of single crochets. Here, you need to work 8 single crochets into the ring. Chain 1 as the beginning chain of single crochet. Yarn over. Draw the yarn through. 1 chain is complete. This beginning chain isn't shown in the chart. Actually, when crocheting in joined round, we always begin a round with the beginning chain. A beginning chain of single crochet doesn't count as 1 stitch. For the first single crochet, insert the magic ring. Yarn over and draw the yarn through. Yarn over again. Draw through all the loops on your hook. 1 single crochet is completed. The braid on the upper right is its stitch. One stitch represents one stitch crocheted. This is the first stitch of this round. Place a stitch marker on it. If you don't have a stitch marker, you may use safety pins or paper clips instead. Continue with the second stitch. Insert the hook. Yarn over and draw the yarn through. For round 1, work the stitches slightly loosely. Yarn over again, and draw through. Single crochet completed. Continue with the remaining 6 single crochets. After completing, mark the last single crochet. And close the magic ring. Simply pull tight. To close the center of the fabric. The ring is closed. Slip stitch into the marked stitch, which is the first stitch of this round. Insert the hook. Draw the yarn through. And through the loop on your hook. Slip stitch completed. The joining slip stitch does not count as one stitch. Tighten it up. The slip stitch isn't shown in the chart. When crocheting in joined round, we always finish a round with a slip stitch. And tighten up. And that completes round 1. Place a stitch marker in any spot on the side facing you. This marked side is the right side of the fabric, the other side is the wrong side. Thread the starting tail onto a needle. Secure the tail with a few stitches on the wrong side. To prevent the loops from unraveling. Trim any excess. Round 1 is done. Now, let's work round 2. Our 2 is 8V in chart. The number before the V indicates the number of SC2 in 1 to work in a row. So here, you'll work 8 SC2 in 1 in a row. Chain 1 as the beginning chain. Remember, when working in joined round, we always begin a round with a beginning chain. I'll leave out this cliché from here on. In the first single crochet of the previous round, work 1 SC2 in 1, meaning in the marked spot. Work 2 single crochets. First single crochet, for this kind of yarn. Be mindful not to crochet too loosely, or you may end up with a pillow with weird size. Second single crochet, SC2 in 1 completed. Don't forget to mark the first stitch. Now, work another SC2 in 1 in the next stitch. You'll need to work a total of 8 SC2 in 1 for this round. Finish the remaining 6 ones. After the last SC2 in 1, don't forget to mark the last stitch. Check the stitch count now. The total stitches for each round are noted in the chart. I'll leave out this cliché from here on. Now, slip stitch into the first stitch. Insert the hook. Draw the yarn through and through all loops on the hook. Slip stitch completed. Again, always finish a round with a slip stitch into the first stitch and pull tight. Round 2 is complete. Move on to round 3. RND3 says XV times 8. The parentheses indicate a group of stitches. Times 8 means to repeat the group 8 times. Start with 1 single crochet. For every following round, place stitch markers on the first and last stitches. I won't remind you again after this. Now, one more SC2 in 1. A group of XV is complete. Let's do this again. First, make 1 single crochet, followed by 1 SC2 in 1. That's the second group. For this round, repeat the group of XV 8 times in total. The remaining 6 groups will all be worked as 1 single crochet, followed by 1 SC2 in 1. Now slip stitch into the first stitch. Round 3 is done. For round 4 to 12, the stitch techniques have been shown in detail before. The stitch instruction column tells the similar information as before. Just follow the chart and work the corresponding stitches. The word evenly means to work 1 stitch for each stitch. In that way, the fabric curls naturally. Turn the right side out once done. Let's take a look. Each raised texture on the right side indicates a round. Don't forget the beginning chains and slip stitches as you go. Moving forward, use the technique we've shown to finish this section according to the chart. Now, crochet round 13. Follow the chart to finish the first 4 groups first. After that, work the 6 single crochets within the parentheses. Then, 1 SC2 tog. Firstly, 1 unclosed single crochet for the next 2 stitches each. Insert the hook. Draw the yarn through. The first stitch is complete. Continue with the second stitch. Insert the next stitch. Draw the yarn through. Yarn over again, and draw through all loops. 1 SC2 tog completed. Now, 6 single crochets according to the chart. Do not work into the stitch already worked by the SC2 tog. Continue with 1 more SC2 tog. Firstly, 2 unclosed single crochets. And yarn over and draw through. SC2 tog completed. Continue following the chart to complete the remaining section. And finish with a slip stitch. Round 13 is now complete. For the rest of body, continue working in joined round. Just follow the chart as you go. If you meet the yarn end while crocheting, just join a new one. Let me show you how. Here, I'll join the yarn while working 1 single crochet. Firstly, work 1 unclosed single crochet. Then, take up the new yarn. Draw through. Give it a little adjustment. 1 single crochet and the joining are done in the same time. Weave in the tail later. That's how you join the yarn. If you meet a knot in the skein, cut it off. And join the yarn like this. Stuff the protruding bottom first after round 32. Fluff up the filling cottons before you do. The filling should be firm and even, but not too full or hard. Let's keep the body soft. When you have a few rounds remaining before end, stuff the remaining part. And then keep stuffing as you crochet the remaining rounds. That's how you stuff the pillow. Continue to work on the body. After the last round, fasten off. Here I'll work on this sample. Enlarge the loop and leave a tail about 15 centimeters before cutting. Thread the needle. Pass through the front loops of each stitch in the last round. You may gently pull to tighten as you go. And close the fabric. Secure the tail once on the left. Insert the center of the closing round. And exit at any spot. Gently pull to tighten, and press the closing round flat. Hide the tail inside the fabric by passing through several times. Trim the excess. The fabric is closed. The body is also done. Next, let's work on the limbs. Let's look at the finished project. The limbs are divided into wings and legs. Start by the wings first. There are 2 of them. Both are started with a chain ring and crocheted counterclockwise and joined round. Once done, sew them onto the corresponding position of the body. The new stitch here is the F for double crochet. Let's do this together. 4ch in the chart, indicating we'll start crocheting by a foundation chain of 4 chains. Hang the yarn onto your left hand and hold the hook with your right hand. Place the hook under the yarn. Wrap the yarn counterclockwise. Pinch the overlap of the loop with your left thumb and middle finger. Then place the hook on the left side of the yarn. Wrap the yarn counterclockwise and draw the yarn through from the loop. Slightly tighten. This slip knot does not count as a stitch. Adjust the size of the loop on the hook. Then make 4 chains. After the first one, mark the strand on the left. A braid here indicates 1 stitch. Continue crocheting. Mark the strand on the left side of the 3rd chain. Now the chain ring is complete. Second from hook, here means we start crocheting from the 2nd stitch from the hook. Count back from the hook side. 1, 2. This is the 2nd stitch from the hook, and where you marked. Start from this stitch. Into the following back loops, make 1 SC2 in 1. And 1 double crochet. Yarn over once. Insert the back loop of the next chain. And draw the yarn through. Yarn over again, and draw through the first 2 loops. Yarn over and draw through all loops in once. 1 double crochet completed. For the last chain, into the marked spot, make 9 double crochets. Start with the first one. Yarn over. Insert the hook. Draw the yarn through. Yarn over and draw through the first 2 loops on the hook. Repeat this process twice. The first double crochet is done. Continue to work the remaining 8 ones in the same spot. Let's take a look. On the other side of the chain, there are 2 strands left. You'll be crocheting into 2 strands like this from now on. Rotate the fabric clockwise by half a turn. Begin from the remaining strands of the second chain. Make 1 double crochet for each chain. Don't work into the marked spot on the right. Weave in the tail as you go. For the marked spot on the left, work 1 single crochet. You can see that stitches from both sides are worked into the same spots. Finish by slip stitch into the beginning stitch. And fasten off the yarn. Secure with 1 chain. Enlarge the loop. Leave a 20 cm tail and cut the yarn. Pull tight. Remove the stitch marker. Trim the excess of the starting tail. We consider the side facing us as front side, which is with the braid-like texture on the edge. Mark it if you wish. So 1 wing is completed. Crochet the other one in the same way. Now let's sew them on. Thread the reserved tail onto the sewing needle. Just a little bit will do. Then take up the body. Consider the protruding bottom of the body as the back. Mark the centered positions on 2 flanks of round 32 on the body. Double check the positions. Fold the wing along the foundation chain with its right side facing up. Sew the last stitch to the marked position. Tighten as much as possible to make the wing stand upright. Secure the tail with a knot and weave in the excess. And one wing is sewed on. You can also shape the wing as you like. For the other wing, place it symmetrically on the opposite side. Secure it in the same way. It won't be difficult for you. That concludes the wings. Next, we'll work on the legs. Take a look at the finished project. There are 2 legs. Both are started by a foundation chain and crocheted counterclockwise in joined rounds. Stuff the legs as you go. Once done, sew them onto the corresponding position on the body. A new stitch technique here are the W for SC 3-in-1, T for half double crochet and Ta for HDC 2 tog. I'll show you in detail. Chain 8 to start. I'm using cotton yarn of random colors here, but you should use the corresponding size of hook. Then, start from the second chain from the hook. Pick up the back loop of it and make 1 SC 2-in-1. If you can see the stitches clearly here, you don't need to mark the first one. Number 5 single crochets. One SC 3-in-1 into the last chain. That is 3 single crochets in the same spot. SC 3-in-1 is completed. Continue to work on the other side of the chains. Pick up the remaining 2 strands of the chains to make 6 single crochets evenly. Weave in the tail as you go. And slip stitch in the starting single crochet. Trim any excess from the foundation chain. Round 1 is done. Consider the side with the clearer texture as the right side. For the following round 2 to 4, simply crochet in joined rounds according to the chart. Don't forget the beginning chains and slip stitches. The sample is done with round 4. Move on to round 5. Don't forget to turn the right side of fabric out. Start with 5 single crochets. And 1 half double crochet. Yarn over. Insert the hook. Draw the yarn through. Yarn over again, and draw through all loops on the hook. 1 half double crochet completed. Next, work 1 HDC2 tog. First, make 2 unclosed half double crochets. Yarn over again. Insert the hook. Draw the yarn through. The first unclosed half double crochet is done. Continue with the second one. Yarn over. Insert the hook into the next stitch. Draw the yarn through. Second half double crochet completed. Yarn over one last time and draw through all loops. 1 HDC2 tog is finished. Now work another HDC2 tog. Yarn over once. Insert the hook. Draw the yarn through. Yarn over again, and draw through the loops on the hook. 1 half double crochet completed. Continue with 1 HDC2 tog. First, work 2 unclosed half double crochets. Finally, yarn over and draw through all loops on the hook. 1 HDC2 tog is finished. Finish the round according to the chart. Finish with a slip stitch. Round 5 is complete. For round 6 to 7, finish them according to the chart. Stuff a little after you're done. Use a scissors as needed. No more stuffing required for the following crochet. Move on to round 8. Chain 3 as the beginning chain of double crochet. This counts as 1 double crochet, and matches the single crochet in the entry point of slip stitch below. Now, start from the next stitch. Work double crochets evenly. Do not work into the entry point of the beginning chain. Now, pick up the 2 strands on top of the beginning chain. To make an ending slip stitch. Round 8 is done. Move on to round 9. Chain 3 as the beginning chain. This matches the beginning chain below. Then, work 1 double crochet into each of the following stitches. Do not miss the next stitch, which is slightly out of shape. Finally, pick up 2 strands on top of the beginning chain, and slip stitch. Round 9 is now complete. For the following rounds, crochet just like round 9. After the last round, leave a 20 cm tail before cutting the yarn. As you can see, this is a finished leg. Just crochet the other one in the same way. Now, I'll show you how to sew on the legs with this sample. Thread the needle with the reserved tail. Locate round 7 in front of the body. Position the legs 7 centimeters apart from each other. Mark the corresponding positions symmetrically on both sides. Once you're satisfied with the placement, sew the last round of the leg to the marked position. While sewing, ensure the toe point forward. You can also rearrange the legs if you like. There's no specific requirement for the sewing method, just make sure it's securely attached. Knot and weave in the tail when you're done. Sew the other leg on symmetrically. It won't be difficult for you. That concludes the limbs. Next, let's work on the facial features. Let's take a look at the finished project. We'll have the beak, the eyes and blushes. The beak comes first. We will start it by a foundation chain, and work back and forth. After that, sew it onto the front of the body, at the center dent on round 49 to 50. You can mark the dent first. The new stitch here is the AV for TR 2-in-1. I'll show you in detail. Chain 10 to start. And in the second chain from the hook, work 1 single crochet. In the next chain, work 1 half double crochet and 1 double crochet. In the next chain, work 1 TR 2-in-1. That means crocheting 2 treble crochets in the same spot. For the first one, yarn over twice. Insert the hook, draw the yarn through. Yarn over and draw through the first 2 loops. Repeat this process 3 times. One treble crochet completed. Continue with the second one. Yarn over twice. Insert the hook, draw the yarn through. Yarn over and draw through the first 2 loops. Repeat this process 3 times. The second treble crochet is done. And the TR 2-in-1 is also done. Now, in the next chain, work 1 double crochet and 1 half double crochet. In the next chain, slip stitch. Slightly tighten. Continue crocheting according to the chart. After the last single crochet, leave a 30 cm tail and fasten off. The beak is crocheted. Consider the side with clearer texture as the right side. Now sew the beak on. Thread the tail onto the needle. Place the beak with its wrong side facing out. And connect its two ends. Arrange it on the right of the marked position. The position here is random on the sample. You should check the chart for actual detail. Secure with 1 stitch on the first single crochet. And slightly tighten. Then pick up the chains and sew the beak to the body. Firstly, sew the corners on both sides. Keep the sewing position centered. And sew along the foundation chain. As you sew, shape the beak as needed. Try to make it curve natural. Once done, knot and weave in the ends. Do the same for the starting tail. And there, the beak is sewn on nicely. Now, let's crochet the eyes. Here, I'll lay out the technique for the eyes with this sample. There are 2 eyes. Both are started with a foundation chain and worked back and forth. The technique is similar to that of the beak. You must start with a slightly tighter chain here, but don't pull the slip stitch tight. Pick up the back loop of the chain to crochet. After finishing, enlarge the loop before cutting the yarn. You can adjust the length of the eyes if you like. Look! This is a finished eye on the sample. Once the eyes are crocheted, make sure braid-like texture are facing up. Shape them into an arc and place them up here, on flanks of the beak, with one round drop for both ends. Leave about 1.5 centimeters in between. Feel free to adjust the shape of the eyes. Now, I'll show you how to glue. First, take out the glue stick, insert it into the glue gun, plug in the power, switch on, wait for the glue gun to heat up. Then, take up the eye. Apply glue to the wrong side where there's tails. Secure the tails on the wrong side. Make sure no glue shows on the right side. Shape the eyes on the body. The placement on the sample are random. Once you're satisfied with the position, apply glue on the wrong side. Do not apply too much glue, to avoid spoiling the appearance. Press to secure. Do the same for the other end. Then glue it securely. Make it quickly and accurately. Glue the other eye symmetrically. It won't be difficult for you. That concludes the eyes. For the blushes, start by a magic ring and crochet in joined rounds counterclockwise. The technique is similar to the first few rounds of the body. Follow the chart and complete it. Note that after the last round, do not tighten the ending slip stitch. Enlarge loop. Leave a 10 cm tail and fasten off. Now make an invisible fasten off here. Thread the needle. Insert under the second stitch from the entry point of the slip stitch. You can go from the back to front. And back into the braid where the tail is. Adjust it. This way, there are no visible slip stitch traces on the surface. Secure the tail end neatly on the right side with clear texture. Weave in the starting tail in the same way on right side. That concludes the blush. When the two blushes are ready, with their wrong sides facing up, apply glue on the right sides. Spread it evenly. Glue them on flanks of the eyes and a bit below. Feel free to adjust the position if you like. The gluing won't be difficult for you. That concludes the blushes. And we've also covered the facial features. Next, let's make the hat. Take a look at the finished project. The hat consists of the calyx and the flower. For assembly, we'll put in the squeakers. Now, make the calyx first. We start by a magic ring and crochet in spirals round counterclockwise. I'll show you in detail. Make a magic ring. And crochet round 1. Begin with a chain, which doesn't count as a stitch. Then work 6 single crochets into the magic ring. Mark the first single crochet with a stitch marker. Close the ring when you're finished. Since we're crocheting in spirals round, for each round, just follow the chart to finish the required stitches. Round 1 is complete. Continue with round 2. Follow the chart to work the corresponding stitches into following stitches. The starting tail can be woven in. Remember to mark the first stitch. It's helpful for locating the starting point. The last SC2 in 1 is crocheted into the stitch before the marker. At the end of each following round, finish by crocheting into the stitch before the marker. That completes round 2. When crocheting in spirals round, it's normal if a height difference happen between the beginning and the end of a round. We will take the side with clearer texture as the right side. Trim the excess of starting tail. Continue with round 3. Work single crochets evenly, which means to work 1 single crochet for every following stitch. In that way, the fabric curls naturally. Hold the piece with the wrong side facing out, which is the side with this horizontal lines. For the following rounds, continue crocheting in spirals round. Remember to mark the first stitch of each round. When counting rounds, skip the starting point. And count these horizontal lines on the wrong side of single crochets. Follow the chart to complete it. After the last round, leave a 50 cm tail before cutting the yarn. Here I'll work on this sample. Enlarge the loop. Make an invisible fasten off in the next stitch. This makes the edge neater. And that completes the calyx. Next, let's make the flower. Here's a finished project. The flower consists of 5 petals. Top and bottom part. We start the petals by magic rings and crochet counterclockwise in joined rounds. After that, crochet the bottom part and work on the top part finally. I'll show you in detail. The petal is similar to the first few rounds of the body. Follow the chart to complete it. Remember to leave 5 cm tail separately for the first 4 petals. For the last one, don't cut the yarn when finished. Look here. This is the completed petal on the sample. Move on to crochet the bottom part. Start with round 1. Work with the previous yarn. Firstly, 10 single crochets in the current petal. And leave out the rest stitches. Mark the next stitch and the stitch before the first single crochet. Now, take up the next petal. Begin in the first stitch of the last round. Make 10 single crochets evenly. Weave in the tail as you go. Following the method for the second petal. Work 10 single crochets on each of the remaining 3 petals. At the seam, pay attention to crochet tighter. After that, slip stitch into the first stitch. Round 1 is complete. Continue to crochet in rounds following to the chart. It won't be difficult for you. Finally, leave a 50 cm tail for sewing. The bottom part is completed. Now, work on the top part. Take out the same color yarn. Locate the remaining stitches of the petals. Choose any seam of 2 petals. Which is between 2 stitch markers. Join the yarn at the chain space on the left. Then, chain 1 as your beginning chain. Work a SC2 tog in the joining point, and the marked spot on the left. Weave in the tail as you go. Then pick up stitches to work 9 single crochets evenly. Now we see the marker before the seam. Work 1 SC2 tog in marked spot, and here before the seam. That completes the stitches for a petal. Continue with the next group. Work 1 SC2 tog in the chain space after the seam and the next marked spot. After that, there should not be any large holes at the seam. Continue by working 9 single crochets evenly. Lastly, work 1 SC2 tog in the marked spot and the seam. Keep working like this across all the remaining petals. After the last SC2 tog, finish with a slip stitch. Round 1 is complete. Now, continue crocheting in rounds. Follow the chart to finish them. Leave a 5 cm tail before cutting the yarn. Weave in the ends neatly inside. And the flower is complete. Remove the stitch markers. Finally, assemble the hat. Thread the tail from the calyx onto the needle. Sew it to the top part of the flower. That is the part with no tail. Position the calyx with its wrong side facing up. You can use stitch markers to fix the position temporarily. Match the pieces evenly. Pick up stitches from the pieces to sew them together. Gentle tug to tighten. Adjust the position while sewing, to ensure they are matched evenly. You may skip some stitches for the calyx. Secure the tail by tying a knot and weaving in. Next thread the reserved tail of the brim onto the needle. Place the opening of the brim on top of the body. Don't forget to put the squeakers inside the hat. Anywhere will do. Position one of the petal tip towards the centered front of the body. Align the opening with the fourth to last round of the body. See, the center is where you close the fabric. Match the hat to the dents below. You can use stitch markers to secure it. As the position is confirmed, pick up stitches to sew. In practice, when sewing, you can sew with smaller gaps and make the sewing stitches a bit closer. Once done, tie off the tail neatly. And there, the hat is finished. Lastly, we'll make the tail. Let's take a look at the finished project. For the tail, we'll start with a magic ring and crochet in spirals round counterclockwise. Then, sew it onto the body. Let's do this together. Start with an adjustable magic ring. At the beginning, leave a 20 cm tail. Make the loop larger here. Follow the chart and crochet corresponding stitches into the ring. Make the tail slightly looser. When done, close the ring. Try to pull tight as much as possible. Finish by one slip stitch into the first single crochet. Don't forget to mark the first stitch when crocheting. Tighten. Enlarge the loop. Leave a 5 cm tail and cut the yarn. Weave in the ends on the wrong side. It won't be difficult for you. That's how you crochet the tail. Thread the tail onto the needle, with the right side facing up. Place it behind the body and centered. Around round 16 to 17. Pick up strands and sew it in place. If there's a hole in the middle of the fabric, you can gather it slightly by sewing. Secure it firmly, then tie off, and weave in the ends. And that completes the tail. Up to this point, we've covered the entire pillow. If you have any questions during the process, don't hesitate to reach us via the website. Susan's Family, supporting your handwork experience, enjoying the joy of life. Thank you for watching. See you next episode.